Hey, we are Group 9 CBI Cybercrime Investigators in IST 432, fall of 2017. In this course, we examine the legal and regulatory environment of information technology, varying from subjects of intellectual property, privacy, political issues, and e-commerce. Our group members include Seth Marasco, Selena Orban, Laura Daly, Hannah Broadwell, Maurice Saunders, and James McGegrin. Our research question asks, what is the significance of the Equifax breach and how does it relate to cybercrime?
In September of 2017, Equifax, a credit reporting company, revealed that they experienced an extreme cybersecurity breach that compromised sensitive information of millions of Americans. Equifax is one of the largest credit reporting agencies in the U.S., making it an attractive target to hackers. The breach took place from May to July 2017. Equifax reported that they believe roughly 143 million Americans have been affected by the breach. The types of information that was stolen include social security numbers, dates of birth, names, addresses, and driver's license numbers. On top of this, 209,000 Americans' credit card numbers were stolen. Although the breach began in May, Equifax did not become aware of it until July 29, 2017. Executives at Equifax sold $1.8 million of Equifax stock almost immediately after they found the breach. What makes this breach so frightening, though, is that many of the affected 143 million people do not know that they have been affected. This is because Equifax receives much of its information from banks and credit card companies.
A similar case we have seen in the past is the eBay data breach that happened in 2014. eBay failed to notify their customers as soon as they had an idea that their customers' personal information could be compromised. They advised their customers days later to change their passwords, but due to high activity, many could not. It was also not made clear that if users did change their passwords, their information would be safe. Equifax made this mistake as well by not notifying their customers as soon as they knew about their security breach. They as well took months to notify their customers. Customers were frustrated with the way that Equifax handled the situation. After the Equifax notified their customers, people were frantically trying to figure out if their identity was safe. The outcome of this showed how not to react after a security breach. After eBay's breach, they sent out a message on how users can keep their information safe by having strong passwords, not sharing information, regularly changing their passwords, and not having the same password for multiple sites. Equifax will likely follow this by having user security training sent out. This will inform users as to what they can do to protect themselves from data breaches.
The Equifax breach relates to cybercrime law due to the nature of the information stolen by the hackers through the use of a computer. The stolen information ranged from social security numbers to personal addresses. The sensitive personal information has led to cases of identity theft by the hackers and could potentially lead to many more instances. As of late October, there have been over 70 class action lawsuits filed against Equifax since the breach was disclosed in early September. Many of these cases have been filed across the United States, including the federal courts of California, Georgia, and New York. These states have accused Equifax of breaching the U.S. Fair Credit Reporting Act. The law is put into place to ensure the accuracy and privacy of the information provided by credit reporting agencies. Furthermore, a lawsuit filed in Seattle, Washington, has alleged that Equifax willingly and negligently allowed hackers the opportunity to access their customers' information. As a result, we could eventually see the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act come into play during litigation, especially as more information becomes known about the hackers. The hackers access the private information of millions of Americans without authorization in order to compromise the confidentiality of Equifax customers. The hackers have also obtained national security information when they gain personal information about U.S. government employees. This information will be found on the internet for many years to come and could potentially be used in cyber warfare. The CFAA can be used to help judges create and enforce punishments for the hackers in this case. Since the case is still fairly new, there are many investigations to be done and lawsuits to be filed by a variety of states, agencies, and customers.
IST 432, the legal and regulatory environment of information sciences and technology. We focus on learning how the increased dependence on technology has impacted different types of law. The three types of law that we focused on for this class were intellectual property, business and transaction law, and cybercrime. The Equifax breach fits into the category of cybercrime. As defined in our class, cybercrime is the use of a computer as an instrument to further illegal ends. Computers are either used to enhance crimes that have existed for years or create a breeding ground for new crimes to be created. The Equifax breach is a prime example of a computer being used to enhance an existing crime. Identity theft existed long before the internet did, but never on the scale that it is on today, due to the development of the internet. Before the internet, criminals had to dumpster dive for receipts or credit card statements, con the person with the promise of a prize, or even commit murder to steal the identity of another. As demonstrated by what we have learned in this class, technology has increased the scope and impact of identity theft. The Equifax breach supported this idea, as with one breach, the data of around 143 million Americans was impacted, where in the past it was not possible to obtain the information of that many people so easily. From what we have learned in class and in other cases we have looked at in the Cybercrime Unit, it is likely that the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act will be applied to this case in some degree as the access the Equifax breach used exceeded authorization.